Ladies and gentlemen, one of two huge title matches this week on NWA Anarchy. The Anarchy Tag Team titles are on the line. This is a rematch from Seasons Beatings 2007. The challengers, and that is extremely odd to say, seeing as how they were champions for almost 9 months, that being the team of Austin Creed and Hayden Young, the Awesome Attraction. The opposition are for the third time tying the all-time record for NWA Anarchy, the tag team champions, Azrael and Shaun, members of the Devil's Rejects.
Well, Greg Hunter, the Devil's Rejects regained those tag team championships at Seasons Beatings, as you said, and this is the first rematch for the Awesome Attraction. And the thing about it is they've gotten the better of the Rejects in the past, and these guys have risen to the challenge. We could be looking at two-time Anarchy Tag Team Champions here, but it's going to be an uphill battle, because one thing you got to remember, once you've lost to a team, you carry that stigma. Can you do it again? Can you beat them again, or do they have your number? We're going to find out here tonight. And then our second huge main event here tonight, the Anarchy Heavyweight Championship. It's going to be Jeff Lewis taking on the Universal Soldier Shatter with Jeff G. Bailey. That's still coming up. What a huge week this has been.
All right, now the tag team titles on the line. Blind tag. Hayden Young is the legal man. Hayden Young springboard into the clothesline. The Awesome Attraction, when it's all in, and it is time for the big game. These two men excel at raising the stakes, raising their game. That is why they were the longest reigning champions of any kind in Anarchy history. These two men, quite possibly, at least in my opinion, the most dominant tag team champions ever in Anarchy, and that covers a whole lot of ground considering exactly how competitive the tag team division is here in Anarchy. These two young men must be thinking to themselves, I'm sure they are, just as you said, they beat us the last time out, they being the Devil's Rejects. We faced them time and again. Have they figured it out? You have to know that the Awesome Attraction has been watching tapes, they've been training, they've been trying to come up with anything, tools, tactics, that the Devil's Rejects don't know, don't expect. The only problem is with the Devil's Rejects, you never know what to expect.
And the one thing you do know to expect is you're going to have to deal with the Reverend Dan Wilson at ringside. But you know something, Greg Hunter? The Awesome Attraction may have lost the tag team titles, but one thing that I will say, that even in their defeat, even though they lost the championship, one of the big bonds between them and the fans has not been lost. The fans still love these guys just as much as they did when they were champions.
They certainly do. The Devil's Rejects right now in a bad way. The sleeper cell. Right now the victim of a standing wrist lock. Now, big arm drag by Awesome Austin Creed. One thing now that one has to understand. Previously, the MO of the Devil's Rejects was they didn't care if they won or lost as long as they hurt somebody. We saw that for 2 years. Now, they're focused on championship gold. We've heard from Dan Wilson, no title is safe. Not the Anarchy Heavyweight title of Shatter, not the World's Television title held by Truitt Fields. No championship is safe. But when you're in the position of champion, you are once again in the position of not having to care if you win or lose. If the Rejects resort to their typical tactics, if they result to the potential disqualification, who cares? They're still the champs.
Well, Greg Hunter, you talk about, going to, resorting to different tactics. Right there, Azrael had his leg draped over that second rope, between the second and top rope. And then Shaun used it as an extra weapon, ramming Hayden Young's head right into the knee.
And now, then just choking out Hayden Young. Hayden Young, though, trying his best to fight back. He is on the wrong half of this piece of real estate, and Azrael choking him again. The referee can count all day if he hits 5 and disqualifies him. The Reverend's still walking away with the tag team champions, and he knows it. Does that change the game plan for the Awesome Attraction at all?
Well, this is something that, and I think it was probably 2 years ago to the very week that I made this same statement. When Team Anarchy was having their problems with the Rejects, I said they weren't evil enough. They weren't willing to stoop to the same level as the Reject. The thing with the Awesome Attraction is maybe they had to stoop to that level. They had to find their inner demon, that inner evil that lies inside them. Sure, they believe in true justice in the American way, and they want to make the fans happy. But the thing about it is sometimes you got to put that on the back burner and find out what's really deep within your soul and fight fire with fire. That's the only way you're going to beat the beast.
Cutthroat chin lock applied here by Azrael, wrapping Hayden Young's own arm around his throat to assist with the pressure. Not only does that cut off the wind supply, but it also takes away a potential weapon. But Hayden Young fights out nonetheless. Kicks one after another, blocked by Azrael, and Azrael's own educated feet land to the back of the skull of Hayden Young. Cover 2 and only a 2 count.
Well, Greg Hunter, the thing about it is, one thing that I've always said about the Rejects, beneath the face paint of Dan Wilson, the evil layers, there also lies a wrestling genius. This man right here is a walking encyclopedia of this sport. This man knows the ins and outs. It's in his blood. He has passed that down to his guys, and that's what's made the Devil's Rejects a big threat here for almost 3 years, Greg Hunter. 3 years of being a threat. Very rarely in this sport has there been that much dominance from one stable, from one group of wrestlers in one area.
Oh, going for the enziguri there was Hayden Young. The enziguri ducked, and there, face buster from Shaun Tempers. Cover hooked the arm of Hayden Young, the closest limb to the ropes, to try to keep that cover intact. Young kicks out, tag in to the son of Satan, who drops a knee right across the face of the Attraction. Make it 2, and the son of Satan going to town right now on the challengers to the Anarchy Tag Team titles. Cover and only a 2 count.
Shaun Tempers, even though he did come into the Rejects a few months after they were established, he was one of the first outsiders that was publicly offered amnesty within the Rejects, him and Ace Rockwell both, and then Shaun Tempers takes him up on that offer. Shaun Tempers has been the nucleus, along with Azrael, along with Iceberg, along with Dan Wilson, as part of the Rejects pretty much since their inception, and I think that's what's made them so successful, because yes, they have had interchangeable parts come and go, but the one thing about it is the main core has stayed the same.
It certainly has. Now Azrael, with his weapons of choice, using the legs, the feet, and the knees to deliver punishment to Hayden Young, and now the sleeper cell, who is quite possibly the most technically sound of all the Devil's Rejects. Every Reject has their own specialty, their own weapons that they bring to the dance. Azrael, an incredible striker, a mean streak, a level of brutality seldom seen. Shaun Tempers is the finesse of the Devil's Rejects. Hangman's neckbreaker, there you see part of exactly what makes him that way. Cover 2, and only a 2 count. And of course, Iceberg being the big power man, the monster, wrestling's only serial killer, so says the Reverend Dan Wilson. That put together, along with the various members of the Devil's Rejects that we have seen over 3 years, has made them an incredible group to reckon with, very dangerous, and the Awesome Attraction having to reckon with that now. Flying head scissor by Hayden Young.
One thing Hayden Young did wrong right there, though, Greg Hunter, is he put Shaun Tempers as a speed bump between him and Awesome Austin Creed. I know that sometimes ring positioning, when you've taken that beating, doesn't become a factor, but he has to keep that in mind of where he's at, because right now, this could have been the difference between a tag and him taking more punishment.
Well, he just kicked away. Shaun Tempers, tag on both ends. Azrael in, Austin Creed in. Austin Creed going to town now. Back elbow, and now Awesome Austin Creed elevates Azrael up and over to the arena floor. It looks like he's setting up, but a double axe handle from behind puts the kibosh on that. Shaun Tempers, baseball slide, hits absolutely nothing. Right hand from the former Golden Gloves fighter, Austin Creed. Creed now has the Rejects looking for ye old double noggin knocker, and now Hayden Young will fly! Corkscrew dive from the Attraction.
And Greg Hunter, he landed on his feet, which was very beneficial because this floor out here is pure oak and cedar, and that could have done some damage. But right now, the Awesome Attraction, they look poised to once again become tag team champions. And Awesome Austin Creed is full of fire. I mean, he's had to watch his partner take punishment for the last few minutes.
And he is setting up what looks like the Monte Fisto is inbound. It connects. Hayden Young will fly. Flying squirrel. Cover. And here's Iceberg. What in the world?
Ladies and gentlemen, the winners of this match by way of disqualification, the Awesome Attraction. However, as the Anarchy Tag Team titles do not change hands on disqualification, the still champion.
Wait a minute! I hate to interrupt Greg Hunter, but in comes Truitt Fields to make the save. Iceberg interferes. Oh, and a big shoulder tackle just took Iceberg right out of his boots.
The television champion of the world saves the day for the Awesome Attraction, who do pick up the victory, but not the titles. The disqualification means the champs are still the Rejects, but the Awesome Attraction had victory within their grasp, oh so close to another tag team championship. Folks, more championship action still to come. Anarchy continues.